Hello and welcome to the Bodysurf podcast with your budgie boys, Tim and Bondy here this week. This is Between the Sets and it's been a while since we've done a podcast, Bondy, but how you doing, mate?
I'm really good. How are you, Timmy?
Yeah, you're coming in real hot. That's nice. I like the sound of that. But I just wanted to ask you real quick, people are starting to get a bit concerned with the podcast. And they're a bit worried that because we came third at the Australian Bodysurfing Classic for 2022, that we're going to carry on a bit too much. Now, I've got you on here today to guest co-host because no one else was available. Sure. I wanted Owie, he couldn't make it, he couldn't fly down. I wanted Luke Brabot, but he's doing a charity event or something today. And I thought, you know what? We got third at the Australian Bodysurfing Classic, and Bondy, fan favourite, hasn't been on to give his two bob worth.
And I've got a few things to say, I got to tell you.
Yeah. Yes, I certainly do.
Well, see, the thing about those two you mentioned, I haven't seen the bloke in about a year. Luke Brabot, he doesn't know who I am, but g'day, Luke. How you doing?
You've never spoken to Luke in person?
Never spoken to him. He's an enigma. He's one of the Brabots, so he's one of the core people of the Bodysurf community. But I haven't met him. But g'day. I am glad you've got me on today because I'd love to give you my thoughts on the Australian Bodysurf Classic.
Oh, go for it, mate.
Well, first of all, I don't like this chat about how we're not allowed to talk about it. You know, Dave Malloy's talking about how we're never going to stop talking about it, and that's true. We are never going to stop talking about it. I am never going to stop talking about it. Yeah. I think it's one of the greatest things I've ever done in my life. It's one of the greatest things I've ever been involved with.
Do you think the Olympic Australian swim team have stopped talking about the time they smashed the Yanks?
Exactly.
In the relay?
Exactly.
Do you think Kathy Freeman stopped talking about when she won gold in Sydney?
I actually want to swim with a Kathy Freeman suit if I can.
You kind of do sometimes. That's what a steamer is, like the full body Kathy Freeman. How good's a Kathy Freeman suit?
Yeah, I do want. It's not cold enough for us to do the hoodie, but I would love to swim in a steamer hoodie one day.
Do you know what? I've got some big news to announce, and we'll get into some Australian Bodysurfing Classic chat soon. I got some big news to announce, Bondy. I'm moving.
You're moving?
I'm moving from Sutherland, which is where we do the show. We just got this new studio. Oh, we should turn the light on.
Oh yeah, nice.
Oh, where's the thing? There we go.
Fantastic.
Keep your porch light on for the budgie boys, I say. But I'm moving from Sutherland, where we've been doing the show for many years, and I'm moving out north.
North?
I'm moving to Lane Cove.
You know, that's not that far from me.
So you will have to carpool to work, well, at least to the beach.
Yeah.
But what's the closest beach to Lane Cove?
Lane Cove. It'd be one of the northern beaches. You're probably closer to, some of the lower northern beaches.
Oh, yeah, I'll just go to Avalon.
Yeah, you could go to Avalon. You could go to DY.
I've been to Lane Cove to Manly. Not a bad little drive.
Yep.
I've also been from Lane Cove to the eastern suburb beaches. So I went to Maroubra. Actually, I went to Tamarama. And on the way there, I got up very early. I drove over there, went through the tunnel, came out of the tunnel. You know when you come out this road and you sort of head towards the city and you come out near, I think, Afters? No, not Afters, NIDA. No, is it NIDA?
I don't know.
No, what's the film school? There's a film school. You come out and it's 40 kilometres per hour.
Right, yeah.
But you're driving through a tunnel at doing 80 and then you got to get down to, I got done twice.
Really?
So I got done by a camera and then I got pulled over and I had to pay 2 fines.
See, I don't like that. When you get done, and I've been done a few times speeding.
Well, you've got the little Austin Powers Mini Cooper.
I do, and it's really fun to drive. But I don't like that getting done twice on the same trip. You should get a warning. I think in life you should get a warning if you've done the wrong thing.
I did write a letter, and they wrote back, oh, they're 2 separate things. But I go, they're 5 metres apart. The camera was there. The police officer was there. Why is a police officer even doing a speed check with the little radar detector next to a speed camera?
Can I tell you what I like doing? I like watching some really bad TV, and sometimes I like watching RBT. But I like how sanctimonious I get while watching it. I really like that I want people to to have the justice that they deserve when they drink too much and drive, right?
Now, I'm not sure if RBT goes out to our international viewers, but what RBT is a show about people getting pulled over and they need to produce a breath test, which will indicate whether they've had too many to drink or not.
And can I say, on paper, it doesn't work. It sounds like the most boring TV show in the world, but there's something about it. I just can't stop.
I'll tell you what it is.
Yeah.
It's the graphics. You know, they blow into the thing and it goes, and what's it going to be?
What's it going to be?
And you're always like, this guy's cooked. And then he's like just under. You're like, oh. I once got pulled over here. Just outside, there's a big main road, and I got pulled over once after. So I've been sober 2 years, but I used to be a pretty big drinker. But in my head, I would always count my drinks.
Of course.
And in Australia here, we say there's a bit of a rule. You can have 2 standard drinks in your first hour, and then 1 standard drink after that for every hour. But also, what happens if you're drinking for 8 hours?
Yeah. Well, yeah.
You've had 9 beers, but it's over the course of 8 or 9 hours. So anyways, in my head, I go, all right, I'm going to have 3 mid-strength beers and then drive home. But I probably finished my last beer and then just took off. Didn't wait long enough. So I got pulled over here, got breath tested. The copper just looked at me and goes, just go.
Really?
So I must have blown just slightly over 3 mid-strength beers, so 3 standard drinks in an hour, just over. But he's like, I can't be bothered making you wait around for 15 minutes because you're allowed to wait 15 minutes then try again.
Yeah. And
then I can't be bothered taking you to the station and doing whatever for something that's so minuscule. So that was but do you know what I said? I wasn't being a smart aleck. I was just curious. I go, what was it? Well, give us a number because I love RBT. I want to know.
Yeah.
Was I just over? Was I just under? Where was I? Because 3 standard drinks isn't that much. But technically, I probably shouldn't have been driving. Do you drink and drive much, Bondy?
I do not. I don't like to drink and drive. And you know what I actually really don't like? When people advertise where the RBTs are. Because I think it ought to be random. And I think people shouldn't drink and drive.
How do they advertise it?
Oh, like on Facebook or whatever. You know, people...
Oh, you're just checking the Facebook while you're driving?
There's groups. Yeah. And so, no, I think it's good to follow the road rules. Look, every now and then I might go a couple of Ks over. But that's not cool either. But, you know, you got to get all the way to Cronulla from where I live. So
after a big night. See, that's the thing. We meet up Saturday morning, 7:30. If you've had a big night out northwest...
Yep.
Because you always say you live west, but it's northwest, mate. You're more north than west.
Yeah, that's true. It's still a long way.
Isn't that one of the Kardashian kids, northwest?
It is, yeah.
Yeah, so Bondy, you live out northwest, and if you've had a big one Friday night, and then you've got to get up early, drive over to Cronulla, it's a big drive.
Yeah, but I also don't have a big one. I like to have a beer, but I find that after sort of 2 or 3 beers, I feel a bit, bloated. I don't like the feeling of drinking.
Well, that's the thing about, I drink a lot of non-alcoholic beers, and I'll drink 10, 15 in a night. Like, it's filling the void. But I also like being part of the group, and it's a social thing, and I don't mind drinking them. They taste okay, and I can still buy around for the boys. So I'll have like 10, 15. And yes, I feel more bloated. But I'll tell you why I feel more bloated. Because I'm not fucking pissed.
Yeah.
If I was drunk, I wouldn't feel that. I would just feel, I'm happy.
Yeah, right.
You know, they say alcohol's a depressant. I don't think I ever felt depressed on alcohol. I always felt great. The next day, when I was having withdrawals, that's when I felt... I didn't feel depressed. I felt anxious. Did you ever get the shakes?
I got to say, no, I don't get the shakes. But I got to say, I'm on behalf of the Budgie Boys and on behalf of the Bodysurf community, I'm really impressed by your sobriety, Timmy.
Well, you got to remember Sean, your brother-in-law, who's also a big part of the Budgie Boys, even though he didn't compete with us because he was working.
Yeah, it's another... We'll talk about
Shittest
that.
excuse.
Yeah.
Ask for the day off champion.
I know. Or just take it.
It's the Australian Body Surfing Classic. There was someone who has a pretty high-profile job who just took a sickie.
Yeah, right.
But was like, I don't want my picture taken.
It wasn't me, by the way.
They were in the leader. They were in the local newspaper, and they're like, I don't want to... if work finds out... Sean... Take the day off, take a sickie, do what you got to do. You got to get around the boys. But anyways, Sean is your brother-in-law, and he was off the beers for a long time coming through, and no one ever congratulated him.
Yeah, that's true.
Because I think the issue is with that is he didn't have a drinking problem.
Yeah.
See, for me, I had a bit of a problem.
Yeah.
And I was bad on the drink and I was bad on the punt, and I needed to do something about it. And, I've tried multiple times to do it, and I've done multiple sort of things to even just look at harm minimization and just reducing it a little bit. But that's the thing with things that are so addictive. It's very hard to restrict it to one or two. I'm an all or nothing kind of guy.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it has been a challenge, but I think when you set yourself a goal, it's very easy to keep it. So just make the goal either so easy to keep that you're just going to smash it, or so hard that it's when it's achieved, it's glorious.
No, I think it's really cool. And what I like too is that you chat about it too, and you make you take away the stigma from drinking or not drinking. I think it's really good that you're an advocate for sobriety, and also just being able to live your life as a normal bloke on the 0.0 beers. I love it.
It's funny because I've tried to make zeros sound cool. So even on text message, anyone want to go grab a zero? It's hard to get the boys around on a Friday night after work.
It is funny though. I went to a wedding a couple of months ago, and I was driving, so I actually didn't have any beers because I don't like the count. When you count, I don't like that feeling. And
well, we lose count.
Yeah.
So what we used to do, Owie and I were big drinkers back in the day.
Right.
We would start drinking 12 o'clock Saturday. So we'd probably do a podcast in the morning and then go straight to Cronulla RSL, be on the piss from midday all night, and then catch a train home, sleep it off. And what we would do sometimes is we would draw on our wrists how many we had.
Yeah.
But then sometimes we would go to El Loco and they have $5 pints.
Yeah.
And what's a pint? It's like a schooner and a bit.
Yeah, schooner and a bit.
So we were doing, one and a bit. And you'd lose count with the pints.
Yeah.
A schooner, it's 1.2, 1.3 standard drinks. A pint, who knows what you're drinking? Especially if you're filling it up with rocket fuel. Like we were on the craft beers.
So I was at this wedding. I didn't want to count, and so I had 4 or 5 Heineken Zeros.
Yeah.
And then I drove home, and you kind of feel a bit scandalous driving home.
Yeah.
It's a bit weird.
Do you know, after the Australian Bodysurfing Classic, I drove Lone Wolf over to the after party.
Yeah.
And he was having a roadie, and he got me a non-alcoholic Great Northern.
Oh, right.
And I'm driving it with it.
Yeah.
And I'm thinking, this feels weird. I shouldn't be doing it, but legally, I think you're allowed to.
Yeah,
You can just crack a non-alcoholic beer whenever you want. It doesn't look great because it looks like a beer.
Yeah.
But you know what's so funny? And I'm going to sound like a real idiot because I just disclosed that I got done for speeding and all of that. I ran a red light.
Oh.
I think there's a psychosomatic thing that happens to you when you're drinking a beer. There's a placebo effect or something. I don't know what to call it, but you go, you feel a bit, ugh. And I ran this red light. I think also I was drinking, I was putting music on, I was chatting, I got a bit distracted. I was also running a bit hot from the event because it's such a great day. So let's get back on track.
Should we talk some body surfing?
And talk some body surfing. I was just about to say, we're almost 10 minutes in, a bit over 10 minutes actually, and we haven't spoken about body surfing, which is a pet peeve of Dave Malloy, second mention of the podcast, because he says, just start the show with body surfing chat. You are the Body Surf podcast. Start the show with body surf chat, and then for the last maybe 10 minutes, so half an hour body surf chat, for the last 10 minutes, talk about movies, talk about TV, talk about non-alcoholic beers. But I don't want to hear it at the start of the show. So we've really broken that big rule. So I guess we'll have to start retooling the show for next year.
Well, Dave Malloy's already tuned out, so it doesn't matter.
All right, no worries. I wonder if he likes getting mentioned so much.
Oh, you'd think so.
If you don't know who Dave Malloy is, go back and watch his episode of the Body Surf podcast. Very good chat with Dave Malloy. So let's get back on track. We got third at the Australian Body Surf Classic, Bondy.
Incredible.
And talk us through the day, talk us through your experience, and talk us through your journey about how you've improved so much and put some points on the board for us this year. Yeah,
so for those that might be fans of the Body Surf podcast, I had an episode after the first Womp-Off that I was part of, and that was one of my first times body surfing at the 2019 Womp-Off. I think I body surfed a couple of times before that. I performed absolutely terribly. I think I went out, nearly drowned. The boys got around me. I had a really, really good day, but it was also just terrible conditions. You know, it was a cold day. I was in my steamer all day, and I didn't feel like I really contributed. I felt like I was a liability.
So was this Maroubra?
This was Maroubra 2019.
2019.
So fast forward a couple of COVID years, and it's 2022. It's name change, the Australian Body Surfing Classic. There's 140 competitors down at, it was going to be at Maroubra, and then it got moved to our local at Cronulla. And it was a fantastic day. I'll tell you something, though. I was petrified because it takes me about an hour and a half to drive to Cronulla. It's my local, but it's still a long way to drive. And the first event was an individual event. And I thought, look, you know, I can sleep in a little. I can get there a little bit late. But I turned up late, and I thought, oh, my goodness, I'm going to be late for the team event. This is the one time in the whole day we're swimming, and I might be late for it. It turns out I wasn't late. It turns out the whole day, you know, it takes a while for everyone to get in the water and so on. But my first memory of Australian Body Surfing Classic was turning up to the car park, absolutely terrified because I thought I'd missed my event.
Well, even if you arrived after that first individual, and then we may have started the first team event, which I believe was the
Tricks?
It was the Tricks. We could have just put you at the tail end.
Yeah, but that's pressure at the tail end too, because you know we got to get points at the end. And I enjoyed your tactic actually, Timmy. You're our lead off for all the teams events, weren't you?
Yeah.
So talk us through that.
I love doing it, and it's just as a young bloke, I used to be a lot better at doing this, and as a bigger bloke now, it's a bit hard. But just get in and out, mate. Just get wet, touch the wall, hit the showers. So you know, I'm not there to impress anyone. I'm not there to get, you know, big scores for the Budgie Boys. I'm just there to make up the numbers.
Well, here's the thing. So Budgie Boys came third. Spoiler alert, everyone. We came third in Australia and the world for body surfing. But here's the thing. There's a few of us in the team that are exactly like you, just one and done, in and out. We're not going to score many points. I'm a liability when it comes to the teams events. I'm in, and I try not to take too much time.
You signed your waiver though, yeah?
Somewhat waiver, yeah. I didn't drown this year, but I don't want to take too much time. And I think when I'm out there, I don't know if you feel this, but I feel kind of anxious about catching the wave, because if I don't catch the next wave or the next set or whatever, I'll be out there for another couple of minutes, and that's another couple of minutes that we could score us the big points. So
I'm exactly the same as you, Bondy. When I'm out there, I'm counting the seconds. I'm taking seconds away from Jesse Mawson. I'm taking seconds away from Owie.
Yep.
And that's why I do the tactic that I do. Just get in, get wet, touch the wall, get out. It's almost like a cricketer, a fielder, who drops a catch.
Yeah.
They're counting every run that gets scored.
That's right.
After that catch is dropped. So if I can just catch a wave, get out, I'm saving the team heaps of time. The only thing I got frustrated about is we were good for time.
Yeah.
Like, I think Owie at the end was just mucking around in the water because he had caught so many waves. He was just chilling.
Yeah.
For one of the events, I swam back out and had a swim with him because he just was free riding.
Yeah.
I don't think he was even in the flags. So the tactic's good, but we need to utilise it more and give people more time.
So can I tell the podcast listeners what happened in the Tricks event?
No.
So I went. Oh well, I will anyway. I've got the mic. So I can't remember where I went in the team. There's 10 of us in the team. I might have gone, I don't know, 4th or 5th, something like that. Here's the thing.
By the way, Here's the Thing is the name of Alec Baldwin's podcast.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it's something that Lauren Michaels would say. You know, the executive producer of Saturday Night Live. He's like, here's the thing.
I think he got it from me. But
he also got his gun shooting abilities from you.
So I actually
headshot allegedly.
Allegedly, yeah.
No, I don't think it's allegedly anymore.
No, I think it. Yeah.
I think he's been done.
No. He was.
Or he's getting done.
No, he was exonerated.
Exonerated, which is a big word, and I don't know what it means, but I'm guessing it means he's off the hook.
He's off the hook
for killing somebody.
Still making
allegedly
movies. Still making
killing
movies.
someone.
Yeah.
She's dead. It's not allegedly. A cinematographer died.
But
on a film set.
Alec Baldwin's kind of funny in 30 Rock, though.
That was his comeback.
Yeah, true.
You know, like he was already out. He was on the outs of Hollywood.
But he plays that character so well.
Yeah, that character. Do you know who auditioned for that role?
Who?
John Hamm.
Really?
Can you imagine if John Hamm got that job? Yeah.
No, I can't imagine it. Let's get back to body surfing.
Also, John Hamm is always like, I'm a very dramatic actor.
Right.
I've seen him do like 1 or 2 dramas.
Yeah.
Everything else is comedy.
Yeah, true.
But he's like, I'm not a comedic actor. All he does is comedy.
But he's always the straight actor.
Have you seen Bridesmaids? He's
Yeah,
sort of
actually,
wacky in that.
That's true. That's true.
Also, does Bridesmaids hold up? Is it still a good film?
Well, I mean, I haven't seen it since it came out, so I don't know.
When it came out, I saw it in the cinema. The cinema was erupting with laughter.
Yeah.
But I watched it again, not that good. You know what else is not that good? Step Brothers. Not that funny.
Never.
Rewatch that, mate. Doesn't hold up.
I will not rewatch it, and I will not watch it.
I don't think most Will Ferrell films hold up.
Yeah.
The only one may be Elf. It's still quite funny. Because it's cute. You know, you can't... It's timeless.
I think the thing about Will Ferrell is he... Are we allowed to, like, go into movie chat?
Yeah, we'll get back on track in a sec.
Okay. So Will Ferrell, I mean, he's okay. He's always a bit over the top. And I found, in particular, when I was watching The Office, I mean, his season in The Office is very controversial. But I like it when I watch it the first time. I don't like it when I watch it the second time. And I think it's kind of the same with a lot of his movies. It's over the top. It's kind of like, oh, that's interesting. And then it's like, mate, just a couple of decibels less, you know?
I met him.
Okay.
Yeah, I was working in radio. He came over to promote a film. And when Will Ferrell comes to Australia to promote a film, you know it's a stinker.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
And the film was The Campaign.
I've never even heard of it.
Starring Will Ferrell and Zach Galifianakis.
Oh.
So they're 2 local politicians. Will's the guy who's been in power for a while, and Zach's just a local guy who's competing against him. And it was not a great film, but when we went in to interview Will Ferrell, he looked defeated. He was wearing track pants, but like a nice shirt, because he was being filmed from the waist up.
Like me on the Zoom.
And he like greeted us, and he like was very nice and pleasant and happy, but he just looked over it. And again, he's in a room all day, just people coming in asking him dumb questions. It must be hard. But also, he probably doesn't believe in the product that he's promoting.
Yeah.
So, but then the camera turns on, we start filming, and boom, he turns into Will Ferrell.
He's on.
And he does all the bit, and you got to give him credit for that.
Kind of like you in this podcast.
I'm always on, mate. Sometimes the misso goes, can you just turn it off for a second? I'm trying to breathe over here. You're just too funny, mate.
Yeah.
We'll get into some movie chat maybe at the end of the show. Maybe at the end of the show we can talk about Jeffrey Dahmer.
I'd love to.
But maybe if people haven't watched it, they can switch off.
Yeah.
But also, how long do you give someone to watch a show or movie when there's spoilers and stuff? But also, we live in this world where there's so much content coming at us, and we don't always have time to do it. So it might take you a while to watch something.
Well, I think the problem too is that it's not you don't watch it at the same time anymore. You know, like we've talked a lot of Lost on this show. I love Lost, but
yeah.
Lost came out at the same time, so you can all talk about it at the same time. And then there was like specific, I don't know, let's say it's 12 months. You know, you give it 12 months. If people want to watch it, they watch it. If they don't, they don't. You can spoil it.
Yeah.
But here, like Dharma is out. It's a great show. But I've watched it, you've watched it. Other people might not have watched it because
it's just on a streaming service, not broadcast television.
That's right.
Seth Meyers hosted the Emmys a few years ago, and he said, I'm going to do jokes about Game of Thrones. It's been out for 6 months. If you haven't watched it, I'm spoiling it.
Yep.
And I think 6 months maybe is the... So Dharma hasn't been out for 6 months, so maybe we'll give a big spoiler alert. But please watch it, because it's a good bit of television.
It's great.
So we'll get into that after we do a bit more Bodysurf chat.
Yeah, can we go back to the Tricks event? Because I do want to particularly mention, I did say that I was 4th or 5th, and the thing about the Tricks event, you got to do a trick when you're on the wave. But my body surfing style, I can barely catch the wave. Well, that is my trick. Catching the wave and not dying is my trick. But if you go back and watch the tape, and I know, Timmy, you've got 8 hours of footage.
I've gone through it a few times.
So have you seen my? I did a little spinny.
Is it on camera?
No, probably not.
Yeah, that's the thing, because we mounted the camera. The camera was real secondary to the commentary.
Yeah.
But then we didn't have very good audio. So I don't know what we did it for.
So if anyone's got any footage of my little spinny on the Tricks event, I would love to see it, because it's the first spin I've ever done, and it didn't feel terrible. But I don't know if that got us an extra 0.1.
It's so funny. I don't like doing spins because I think they're a bit silly.
Yeah.
I think they're quite lame.
Yeah.
But I can do them.
So what was your trick at the Tricks event?
Well, that's the thing. My trick was wearing sunglasses on a wave.
That's cool.
You know, when you put sunglasses on a dog, everyone goes, oh, look at this dog. It looks like a human.
Yeah.
Sunglasses on a body surfer catching a wave, that's a trick.
Mm.
I did do a little spin. I think it was a bad spin. And that's the thing. And I gave Gareth some advice, and I've said it on the podcast before. It's like, when you're out there, don't think about longest ride. Don't think about tricks. Don't think about catching the best wave. Just pretend you're having a sesh with the boys. Because when I'm having a sesh with the boys, I'll do well.
Yeah.
When I'm in a competition, I'll tense up.
Yeah.
So I did tense up on both of my waves, because I only caught 2 waves on the day.
Yeah.
So when I did the tricks event and the longest ride, not great. But I think it would have scored something. You know, even if it's just like a half a point or something.
So here's the thing about the teams event. The teams event that I love, but I also like, you give that advice. I think it's good advice. But when I'm out with the boys, I swim out the back, and I like catch my breath for 10 minutes. You know,
I don't think that's bad advice either. But like, that's great advice for when you're just having a sesh. In competition, you swim out to a wave and catch it.
So I think I needed to train, because if I went out and then caught a wave immediately, I think I'd be in a better stead than what I did.
What happens in the team events, so longest ride and tricks, is when you start, like I do, I go out with everybody at once. So we all go out at the same time. We all swim together. We all find a spot.
Yeah.
And we wait for a wave.
Yeah.
When someone comes in, that we're all coming in at different times, so people are swimming back out at different times.
Yeah, that's
so
true.
You're finding a spot, but you're dodging people who are catching waves. I feel like going first, I did have a chance to sit out the back.
Yeah.
Because everyone was just getting their breath and figuring out where the break was and stuff like that. I think when you go second, third, fourth, fifth, you did not get a chance to get a breath, because you're straight into the pack and you're just swimming and catching waves. But going first, I definitely felt like I had a moment to catch my breath.
Yeah, that's good.
So, anything else you want to mention about the Bodysurf Classic before we move on, Bondy?
Yeah, so just had a great day. It was really good. Like, I mean, you don't get heaps of time in the water if you're not an individual swimmer.
Yeah.
And so...
Well, as I mentioned, I only caught 2 waves.
Yeah. But then you look back on the day, and it's like the best day in the world. It was really good to see everyone. It's good to meet new people. It's good to just get around the community. And I think we say it all the time on the podcast, but to have people that have the same interest, same weird niche interest, you know, we're a bunch of kooks that love to get in the water, and it's just really nice to sort of meet everyone. And I do want to give a special shout out to Stealth in particular. I can't believe, I thought it was a gimmick. I thought it was a joke that they were giving away fins on the day, but I got a pair of Stealthies. I've been wearing them the last couple of weeks in the water. And
did you wear them today?
No, I didn't wear them today. It was a bit. I don't have the straps on them yet, and it was a bit bigger today. But but I really enjoyed the Stealth. So yeah, thanks heaps.
Well, we
for
should
supporting the community.
I think Stealth got on board quite late. They had a new product they wanted to push, which was the soft flexi Stealths.
Yeah. And
in Australia, the distributor for Stealth is also the distributor for Defin. And Defin is really out there backing body surfing. They're backing body surfing in Hawaii. They're backing body surfing here in Australia. And they're backing body surfing all over the world. And they're such a big sponsor of the Australian Body Surfing Classic. And I hope something big is brewing up for us to go over potentially to Hawaii. A lot of people have been asking me about this Hawaii trip. You know, we went out for a body surf today with Gareth. He's real keen. He wants to do a trip with his brother-in-law, and they're thinking of doing a surf trip overseas. And they're like, if we can do Hawaii, we're good to go. A few Hawaiians have messaged me and just asked for my opinion on how the event could run. And I've got some ideas. I've verbalised them here on the podcast. I hope I've articulated them all right. I'll talk to Ricky and say this is how I think it could look, but I'm sure Ricky's got some great ideas, and I'd love to hear them, and we might get him on the podcast next year to talk about that. So a trip to Hawaii could be very, very interesting, but Finn, whatever happens, are supporting body surfers, and we appreciate it because they also gave away a lot of Fins that day.
That's right.
I think they probably gave away just as many Fins as Stealth, so that was really, really cool. I've never seen anything like that because there was 140 competitors and everyone got a pair.
It was amazing, and it really just shows, the spirit of wanting to grow the community and so back in the community. I think it's really great.
Did you get just a pair of Stealths? Did you get anything else?
A pair of Stealths and I've already got the Fins, so
because I heard they were giving some people both.
Really?
Yeah, some people got Stealths and Fins. I know Woofo got a pair. He said it's for his misso, but he'll take them.
Sure.
And then
his misso doesn't have that big a feet.
I think some other people got both Stealth and Fins, and I went back and go, oh, can I grab some? Fins? He goes, oh no, you only get one or the other. And I was like, do you know who I am?
We do, and you're not getting them.
He's like, that's why you're not getting them, champ. I've heard you on the podcast. I've heard you talking about the cramp issues.
No, I find, and it's funny because we might talk about what's in my floppy bucket, but I'm...
No.
Oh.
This isn't an interview.
Why not?
You're a co-host. This is between the sets.
Oh.
It's a different show, mate.
Oh, well, I'm that explains everything.
You can talk about some gear, but we're not doing the official segment.
So I find that Fins are good for the bigger waves, and lately I've found the Stealths are good for, just a 1 or 2 foot, just having a bash.
Why?
I don't know. I think it's because... maybe it's to do with the stiffness of the blade or something like that. But I went out today, and the waves were big for me today. I don't know what they were like for you, Tim, but the beach was closed. That's always the first sign of I'm not sure if I should go in. But it was a pretty big day, and I needed the extra, maybe it was the extra power or the extra length of the Fins.
I'll always say this: there's always a massive battle between power and comfort.
Yeah.
And I use a fin that is more comfortable than powerful.
Yep.
But I'm prepared to take that sacrifice because I'd rather be comfy out there. And what it means for me is normally I use a bit more of my upper body strength to get on waves than I do my kicks.
Yep.
People that ride the fins, I think, kick more or use their leg strength to get on waves more.
Yep.
And then when they make the switch, they struggle. So if someone was to switch to a more comfortable fin, like a DMC or a Tech 2 or even maybe the Stealth, they struggle to get on waves because they're so used to the power of the fin.
Yeah, I wasn't sure. So when I went out to Maruba a couple of weeks ago, and might have been 2-3 foot on the sets, and I was having a good time. I was just by myself. I went out with the Stealths, and I wasn't sure about the asymmetrical design because it's kind of looks a bit like a dolphin fin, like a flipper, and yeah, I'm not used to that. I'm used to.
Does it have a left and right foot?
Left and right foot,
okay.
Yeah. So yeah, I'm not used to that. I didn't like the left and right foot because if you're putting them on in the water, I never know which way is which. I always worried about putting them on the wrong foot. But I went out there and it was fine, and I was able to get on waves that I wanted to get on, and it felt comfortable and it felt good. But yeah, the other problem is I'm a bit of a collector, Timmy, and so I just I've got DMCs, I've got Vipers, I've got a couple of pairs of Fins. Now I've got the Stealths. I like to collect, and the problem is you can only wear one pair of fins at a time, But I do like collecting.
Well, Dane Torres wears 2.
Well, yeah, but I mean, he's Dane Torres,
Would you ever wear 2 different fins, as in not like different colours, like 2 completely, like one DMC's, one Fin?
Yeah, I mean, why not?
You might be doing circles in the water.
Yeah, it couldn't hurt my body surfing, let's just say that.
Do you know what could be good? So say you're going a left.
Yeah. You
put the more powerful fin on your right foot. So you naturally swim on an angle.
Can we, if the super business listening, I think this is some technology he can think about.
Do you know what? Like this is why we invented Tickler. because it was so hard reading waves going which ways are going.
That's right.
And I hate changing I don't really use a hand plane much, but changing hands sometimes because they have obviously safety straps on. So to change hands sometimes is hard, and that's why tickler was invented, so you could just strap it to your dominant hand and then just ride with both hands if you needed to go left or right.
Yep.
Fins, imagine doing that with fins, like trying to flip, this wave's going right, I got to flip my fins over. Like that's a messy day out.
I'll just go straight.
Well, let's have a quick chat about our experience today. We went out for a body surf with Gareth. You sent the message out last night. I said, yep, I'm keen.
Yep.
Might be one of my last swims in Sutherland, I might be making the drive, might be catching the Greyhound bus with Bondy.
Yeah.
So it was good to get out there. It's always nice when I had a cruisy Friday. So I finished work. I went to the driving range. I had a nice pepperoni pizza for dinner, and I played Wii golf. I was in bed by 10, 11.
Fantastic.
And then I thought I'm going to feel real fresh in the morning and ready for a go on these waves. So we got up. We met Gareth. It was just the three of us. Lone Wolf joined us a bit later, but we missed him. And yeah, the surf wasn't huge, but for some reason the beach was closed, I think because it was just a little bit messy. And apparently there's a bit of wind that's meant to be coming through soon, so that's going to chop things up real nice. So it's Saturday morning here in Sydney, Australia, and we went out and, Bondy, you were close to calling it. You wanted to go straight to breakfast, but we gave you a little nudge and you got in, and you didn't catch a wave.
No.
But you always say you never regret, and did you regret today?
Not at all. No, I love getting in the water. Even though I do push for breakfast instead of the water sometimes. Sometimes, last time we went out, it was a month or two ago, and we didn't go out. It's because I got to the beach and there was a lot of white. When there's a lot of white, I just my heart sinks and I go, I can't be bothered swimming all the way out because you don't want to get stuck in the white.
Well, the swim out today was very easy.
It was, yeah.
The swim back in was even easier. Now, we were talking about going straight a minute ago. How did you go going straight?
Oh, it was fine, yeah.
So you did catch a wave.
Yeah.
It was just straight.
Got a wave in.
Yeah. That was the wave of the day for me, catching that. It was a pretty nice little wave that shaped up and I just went straight on it. There's something about going straight which doesn't feel as dangerous.
No.
It's the same wave.
Yeah.
But when you cut across it, it feels like you're because you're dropping in and cutting across at the same time, and you can catch an edge or catch a lip and stack it and then get smashed onto a bank or something. When going straight, you just go down the wave and then it sort of crumbles behind you and keeps pushing you.
Yeah.
It feels really safe.
Yeah.
Like Owie and I used to go huge bombs, but just straight. And it was a lot of fun, and maybe we should bring that back into body surfing.
Well, I often it's a bit it's a bit embarrassing, but often the wave into the beach is my favourite wave of the day.
For me today, it was because I pulled off a few waves because I was about to get smashed, and it wasn't because it was big; it was just sucking weird, and there was a bit of sand sort of exposing itself, I guess. So I was a bit scared, really, of just landing on that sand. So to catch one in felt really nice, really safe. But, you get a bit of speed.
Yep.
You go straight. I got a lot further than I thought I was going to get. And it was a lot of fun. That's probably why we don't go straight that much, because it takes you all the way in and then you got to swim back out.
Yeah, and I don't love that.
So it's great to finish your day with a nice straight one. So let's quickly wrap up the show with a bit of Jeffrey Dahmer chat. If you haven't seen Dahmer, what is it called? Monster? The Making of a Monster?
Yeah, something like that.
Do you know they've renewed it for a second season?
No, they haven't.
Yeah, but it's just going to be a different serial killer. So they're going to call it Monster, but
cool.
it'll be, Ed Kemper or someone else.
I was going to say, there's not much room to go in the story.
Yeah, it's just the afterlife. Jeffrey Dahmer in the pits of hell. I was going to say something really rude. Norm Macdonald, do you remember Norm Macdonald?
Of course I do.
Yeah, so Norm passed away a while ago, but Norm was a Christian.
Right.
But he would always say that sort of thing will get you, and he would make a really funny joke about, what's going to happen to you in hell.
Oh, yeah.
And I think, it's always Hitler.
Yeah.
Hitler's the guy that you imagine is in hell getting tortured. But like, yeah, I don't want to get into it because it's gross. But
Sure.
Norm would always say this saying. That's the sort of saying things like that. That's the sort of stuff that will get you locked in hell for all of eternity. He's just a chunk of coal.
Yeah.
But he wanted to be a diamond one day, and I believe he is. He's a shiny diamond right now. And he fans of the country singer Billy Joe Schaefer, who was Norm's best friend, who died a few months before Norm, I think. Much older guy, great country singer, wrote some of the best country songs of all time, but had a song, I'm just an old chunk of coal, but I'm going to be a diamond one day. And they played that song at the end of Norm's last Netflix special. So Norm released a special when he died.
Yeah, right.
So he recorded it on like a webcam. And I think he recorded it in case he died.
Right.
This is my last hour.
Yeah, okay.
So it would have been great to see him do it on stage. There's some footage of him doing some of them. By the way, Norm Macdonald, stand-up comedian, actor in a lot of Adam Sandler films.
Yep.
And one of the greatest, most prolific, hardest working stand-up comedians going around. And it was weird watching that special because he's just on a webcam talking like this. And there's no audience reaction. And it's weird to see him like that. It would have been nice to see that material in front of an audience and see how it worked. Apparently there's some clips on YouTube of him testing that material in front of a crowd, and it's killing.
Yeah.
But it's weird watching him just do it in front of a webcam, like acting it out and stuff. It's a bit dorky. But Norm Macdonald, R.I.P., top bloke. And wish he was a body surfer. Would have loved to have got him on the show.
He would have loved to get wet.
He's from Canada.
Right.
Ontario, Canada. He grew up on a farm, so I don't think he was near the water. And we don't know. Do we have any body surfing? I think there's a few body surfers in Canada.
If you are from Canada, please get in touch. We would love to talk about the hoodie that I was talking about at the start. I'd love to see how much suited up you need to get to swim in Canada.
Yeah, and even if you want to, come have a bag of milk with us over here, we'll get on the milks with you. They love a bag of milk.
What?
They don't have cartons. They have bags of milk.
That doesn't make any sense.
And they just pop a straw in it and suck it out.
Okay.
Or I think they cut it, put it in a jug, and then they have the jug.
Yeah, that's pretty weird.
It's very weird.
Yeah.
So R.I.P. Norm Macdonald. But if you haven't seen the Jeffrey Dahmer miniseries, turn off now. It was spectacular. We were talking about it while we were body surfing today. Episode 1 is a quick sort of introduction to Dahmer and what he's been up to. And then he gets caught. And I guess then everything kind of works backwards. We kind of see some of his childhood, see some of him when he's sort of dropping out of school. And then, he takes a big gap sort of in his 20s,
yeah.
I think, where not a lot was talked about in the film, but he was digging up corpses.
Yeah.
Plural.
Yeah, corpi.
And having sex with these dead bodies.
Which, I mean, if you're doing that, something's got to be wrong with you, mate.
It's a victimless crime in my books.
Is it?
No.
Shivers, wow.
Yeah. Well, at least he's not killing. The killing is the big part of the crime.
Yeah, I don't like the killing. So I'm not sure. I think the thing that was so unsettling about the Dahmer docuseries. Yeah,
is that what it's called? I think it's just a mini-series.
Oh, a mini-series, whatever. It's based on true
It's
story.
not a documentary. That was an actor.
Oh, was it?
Yeah,
okay,
the
right.
real guy is no longer with us.
Oh, right. Okay.
R.I.P. Jeffrey Dahmer.
Okay, yeah, respects. Probably in hell. I don't know.
Devout Christian.
Oh, maybe not. Well, that's very controversial. Anyway, so the thing that was interesting for me is that, you think of serial killers as absolute weirdos, screw loose, that kind of thing, and he's a weirdo, screw loose. But he kind of represented himself pretty normal as well, and that for me was the kind of the terrifying thing. It's just, I mean, Timmy, I know you pretty well. I don't know that you're not digging up corpses.
Well, Warrenora Cemetery is just across the road.
That's what I'm worried about.
That's why I'm sad about leaving this place. It was such a convenient location for so many of my activities.
It's just I have the benefit of I give the benefit of the doubt to all my friends that they aren't serial killers.
Statistically, one of your mates is a criminal.
Yeah.
Yeah?
I guess so.
We knew someone who went to jail.
Really?
I've known a few people that have gone to jail. Yeah.
Yeah. Well.
And I've known people who have gotten out of jail. People. I know some criminals.
Okay.
I roll with a pretty tough crew.
Can they join the Bodysurf podcast?
Well, I don't know if you've watched the live show. There was a comedian in the audience who 6 months ago just got out of jail.
Yeah, right.
For the distribution of magic mushrooms.
We'll get him down to Cronulla. He'd love a surf.
Well, we made a joke in the podcast. It's like, did you learn how to swim in jail? Like, because he was in there for a little while, not that long. Do you know what the sentence is for someone who's selling magic mushrooms?
No.
It's life in jail.
No, it's not.
It's life in jail. So he almost got done. He got off. He must have had a good lawyer.
Is it because of the distribution?
Yeah, I don't know what the actual crime is. Like, selling weed has a much smaller sentence. So maybe it's because it's a what's it called?
Yeah.
It's a hallucinogenic.
Yeah.
Is it?
Yeah.
Or psychedelic.
Oh, look, you're talking to the wrong person.
I feel like the drug is a hallucinogenic. Jimi Hendrix is psychedelic.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
He's shagadelic.
That's Austin Powers. Groovy, baby. So, yeah, he almost got life in jail, this guy.
Shivers.
So, interesting story. But we asked him if he would swim. He wanted to come on the podcast.
See, I'd hate to be in jail for a lot of reasons, but imagine never being able to surf again. That would be terrible. One thing I will say about surfing. So sometimes I drive all the way from where I live to Cronulla, and the surf's not that good. And sometimes you guys don't want to go in, and sometimes I don't want to go in.
It's mainly you, mate.
But if I don't go in, my wife knows. Like, she knows that something's up. She knows I'm maybe a bit more irritable. I'm not as fun to be around. There's something really calming about the ocean. I think.
And you're pretty irritable at the best of times.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely.
So
just ask my brother-in-law.
Shawnee boy. Let's get him on the pod soon.
Oh, can we?
Yeah. So back to Dharma. First episode I thought was incredible and it really hooked you in. You're going to watch the whole show once you watch that first one.
Yeah.
Because there's another show on Netflix called Mind Hunters.
Yes.
And it's based on a book. Also, Silence of the Lamb is loosely based on it as well.
Yep.
So... Great show, but the first episode of Mindhunters, I don't know if you remember it, not that great. Didn't draw you in. You had to push through it, but it gets a lot better.
Yeah, I had a strong recommendation, so I was pushing through.
It's a great show, and I was very disappointed when they didn't renew it for a third season. It might be coming back.
Yeah.
'Cause David Fincher is the showrunner.
I love David
So
Fincher.
David Fincher writes, produces, directs it.
Wow.
So I'm exhausted. It's easier for me to go and do a film.
Yeah.
So he went and did a few movies. Because he did some big films.
Yeah.
But I think this show has such a big fan base that they're going to bring it back.
I like him best on... It's a bit taboo now to talk about, but House of Cards. I love House of Cards. And Fincher was in the first season. He directed the...
Okay, was he he direct or produced?
Oh, sorry, I think produced.
Wrote?
No, he was the kind of art direction and that kind of thing.
Because in TV, the writer is king.
Yeah, true.
Like the writer really, in film, director's king, but in TV, writer's king. So, it'd be good to get a TV show one day and make something of myself. Because I glorify these guys. I've never met David Fincher. Top bloke in my books. If he makes something that good,
yeah.
I like the kid. I was watching Louis C.K. the other night with a friend. I went and saw Louis C.K. He's a comedian. He came and did the State Theatre here in Sydney. Great show. And then I started watching his old TV show. And it's just it's so good. It's like a love letter to New York. They're these short little vignettes. They're 10-minute episodes. And they're Woody Allen-esque. But... the situations he gets into are just so humorous and nothing like Woody Allen, because Woody Allen was this neurotic New York comedian who's my life's so hard, I'm a writer, I can't do anything, I'm going to date a young girl. That's what most of his films were about.
Yeah, true.
And I got to say, Midnight in Paris, one of the best films of all time, grossed more money than Transformers.
Did it?
Yeah. Great film.
Also, Transformers isn't that good.
But like you think a big budget film like that,
Michael Bay.
yeah, it's going to cost you a lot more to make that film
Yeah.
than Midnight in Paris. Even though Midnight in Paris, great cast, great sets, you know, it was a period piece, so they had. I always think period pieces must be hard to do.
I feel like just like the movie, Hollywood in general now. There's everything's Marvel, everything's big production, everything's action.
All the top 10 films are all superhero movies.
I feel like there's no room almost for like your period pieces
or just good stories.
Good story, good comedy. Like there's not a lot of good comedic.
Because I don't want to give away these superhero movies, but the good guy normally wins.
No.
Although Joker. Good film.
Yeah.
I did enjoy that. But also, it's just a rip-off of Kings of Comedy.
Yeah.
Have you ever seen Kings of Comedy? Great film.
Right, okay. No,
all right, we're really doing shit movie chat now.
This is terrible.
So let's get back onto Dharma. Great show. Do yourselves a favour. I'll do the old Molly Meldrum. Do yourselves a favour.
That's good.
And watch the old Jeffrey Dahmer on the Netflix. And I love that it's a Netflix original. Netflix own that. Because... I don't know if you know much about syndication and programming and getting the rights.
I just know Jerry Seinfeld's on heaps of money still.
From doing Seinfeld. But that's the thing. So he's getting money from Netflix?
Yeah.
Is it on Netflix?
No, I don't know.
That's the thing. Syndication is different in different countries.
Right.
So it might be on Netflix here, but over there it's on Peacock.
Yeah.
Because it originally aired on NBC. But yeah, and then maybe a cable channel picks up a few seasons, and then TV1 here in Foxtel. So he makes a lot of money. Larry David as well makes a lot of money from all those syndication rights. But that's the thing. Netflix, who are in a bit of trouble financially because it costs a lot of money to make all these shows and movies, and it's subscription based, so they got to make money from us paying monthly fees, and it's not that expensive.
Or from someone paying the monthly fees, and you just get on.
Yeah, that's right. But they've brought in now, you can get a cheaper version on Netflix. I think it's $6 a month, but there's advertisements. So I wonder who's going to advertise on Netflix. And but then
could we advertise on?
I think it would be very expensive. But then again, if you start advertising on Netflix, you've got to bring in sales teams. You got to hire more staff to make more money, and it's just this never-ending thing that we call capitalism. But it's not working. Let's go back to a communist sort of format, I think.
I was wondering when we were going to do shit politics chat.
No. Let's keep it to movie chat. Have you ever seen The Dictator with James Franco and Seth Rogen?
No.
Was it The Dictator? No, that was the Sacha Baron Cohen film.
Yeah.
What was the film? The Interview.
Yeah.
You like that one?
I haven't seen it.
Because Sony leaked something that leaked.
Actually, can I should have prefaced shit movie chat with name a movie. I haven't seen it. I'm terrible, and the problem is
Schindler's
now,
List.
Actually, I have seen it.
See, I haven't seen it.
But with Schindler's List, I watched it a couple of months ago for the first time on the way to America.
Do you recommend it?
Yeah, it's great, but not on the way to a holiday. It kind of just bummed me out.
Yeah, not on your way to Auschwitz.
Yeah. Can you cut out that laughter? Sorry, I shouldn't laugh.
Some people say 6 million, some people say 600.
Oh,
you know,
gosh,
you don't even.
Don't.
What were you saying before the podcast? You're like, I don't think the Holocaust happened. You're like, I don't like this whole Me Too movement. You were saying some weird stuff before.
We got to cut all this out. We got to get out of here. Do it.
Apparently, Steven Spielberg made Holocaust survivors watch Schindler's List. Like he invited them to the premiere.
Yeah, right.
And they're like, "Why are you making us?"
Yeah,
we went through it.
That's right.
And it's the same with like Saving Private Ryan or like war movies. They bring in veterans, and they're like, "What?" They got PTSD. They're watching these guns get fired at them and stuff.
I've never understood war movies. I've watched Saving Private Ryan, but I've never understood like why people are so into them. It seems like the same kind of story all the time. It's bravery over blah blah blah.
But a war movie can go either way because some people lose. A lot of people die. See, superhero movies, no one's ever sacrificed.
But the Americans don't lose.
Well, sometimes. Didn't they lose a big one?
Yeah, they've lost a few times, but we don't talk about that.
Gallipoli, have you seen that with Mel Gibson?
No.
So that's about, obviously, an Australian war and our involvement in it. And a lot of it's set in, I think they go to Egypt to do training and stuff. And, horrible ending to that film.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Spoiler alert.
But it also shows a realistic view of like some of these guys weren't great. Like, they were going to these places and sort of being dickheads, but they are still... I don't know, they still fought for their country and did what they had to do, and some died.
Yeah.
But it was a weird way to sort of represent the Australian soldier, I thought, because they showed them doing some weird stuff. And it's probably not that weird. It's probably quite normal for some people, but I don't know. If you've seen the film, you'll know what I'm talking about. Anyway, do yourselves a favour and watch. Do you recommend Schindler's List?
Yeah, I do.
Yeah.
It's one of those movies I think everyone has to watch. And
What's the worst movie you've ever Netflixed and chilled to?
The worst movie. There's so many bad movies, but like I did. What? It's kind of funny. I can't remember the exact movies. Is it Grown Ups 2 with Adam Sandler? There was this podcast. It was really popular a couple of years ago. That the host watched it every week for a year.
They're New Zealand boys.
The New Zealand guys. Yeah,
we've mentioned them on this podcast.
Yeah, I really, really like that premise. So Grown Ups 2 is the worst movie I've seen, but like I started to like it listening to the podcast. So it's one of those things where I think the more you watch something or the more you're exposed to something, the less you hate it. And even bad movies, I see the reason I say ask a movie I haven't seen it is because I don't watch a lot of movies. But the ones I've seen, even if they're bad, you kind of just convince yourself that they're not too bad.
So are you saying you had sex after watching Grown Ups 2?
No, I'm not saying I did that.
That was the question, though.
No, well, I haven't Netflix and chill with anyone.
Because
my wife and I, we schedule and it's not after a movie.
Yeah, you love a good schedule. I've Netflixed and chilled to Hannah Gatsby's Nanette.
Oh.
Which some people said, it's an impossible task.
I was going to say that's a challenge.
Yeah. So Hannah Gatsby, one of the best misdirects in the history of comedy, I believe.
Right.
Starts off, hey, it's a comedy show. It's a big Netflix special filmed at the Sydney Opera House. Welcome to the comedy show. Next minute, boom.
Yeah.
Trauma.
Yep.
And no comedy for the last 40 minutes of that show.
Yeah.
And it was intense watching it, and then, well, I'm here.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. So yeah, that was a bit of a challenge.
Yeah.
But as you say, when you watch films over and over again, you sort of you grow fond of them. I really enjoy watching around Christmas time. Santa with Muscles.
Okay.
Starring Hulk Hogan.
Right.
And Mila Kunis, who's about 11 years old in it, I believe, yeah.
Yeah, cool.
But also, the movie I've probably watched the most, so if I was going to do that podcast and watch a movie every day, it would be Wayne's World.
I love Wayne's World.
I've seen Wayne's World 1 and 2. My sister used to work at Video Easy.
Yeah.
And it was on her, previously rented list, 100 times.
Right.
I would watch it so much. So
I think Wayne's World would be a movie I could almost quote.
It's the sort of film if I was to make a film, and I don't think too many Australian filmmakers have ever tried to do a sketch comedy film, and Americans don't really do them much anymore. And Wayne's World was different because the narrative was nice, but the sketches were funnier.
Yeah,
where America went into this craze of doing scary movie, not another teen movie, and they were sketch films with an awful narrative where the narrative was actually a parody.
Yeah.
So Wayne's World had a nice story.
Do you like Wayne's World 2?
I think it's almost as good.
Yeah, me too.
See, there's only a few sequels that are on par or better. I would say Wayne's World and Ace Ventura.
See, I think the whole point in a sequel is to take the original idea and move it forward.
That's
right. And I think Wayne's World really does that.
Well, he even sort of had that dilemma, what am I doing with my life? But Ace Ventura too.
Okay.
And if that film just came out by itself, it didn't need one. One's not that great. But I guess one set up the character, but one was also a very basic, very silly plot. The Miami Dolphin mascot goes missing. We need a pet detective to find it. I guess on paper it's funny, but it just didn't play well. But then the second story is just a takeaway from the first film. So in the first film, Ace Ventura says that his only fear is bats. The only animal he loves. He loves all animals except bats. And then he gets put on a case to find the great white bat in Africa. So a huge, big budget film. And I think Ace Ventura 2 is way funnier than Ace Ventura 1. But Wayne's World 2, slightly better or on par with 1, I think.
Yeah.
Good chat. Good shitty film chat. Anywho, we got to get out of here. Do it all again real soon. We're tracking up to news.
Yeah. Okay.
Well, like we're almost at an hour. But also, we probably dicked around for a while, and we'll cut that out. I don't know. And you want to cut out all that stuff I said about
Please, all the anti-Semitic stuff, just get rid of it.
Yeah, you don't want a Kanye situation.
No.
Adidas are going to pull you from their Yeezy brand. Oh man! Apparently, Kanye went to like Skechers shoes, and was like, "Hey, do you want to? Can we collab? Can I do my Yeezys with you?"
Yeah.
They're like, "We're a Jewish company."
Yeah, that's right.
We don't want anything to do with you, mate. Anyways, we'll be doing Jewish chat with Belly Slater next week on the podcast. I have asked Belly to come on the podcast soon, just to give us a bit of a wrap up. I would like to get Luke Brabot on soon as well, because Luke and I sometimes do a bit of a Melbourne Cup special where we do the Master Bait Boy Cup.
Yes, you got to be careful how you say that.
I think anyway you say it's going to be bad.
Yeah, true.
But any last words, Bondy, before you wrap up?
No, just love being here. Invite me for a surf sometime. Always like to get in the water, and big shout out to everyone I've met in the community, and look forward to surfing with you soon. And
thank you for your service, and thank you for doing so well at the Australian Bodysurfing Classic this year. We're almost at the end of the year.
Yeah,
it's cool. Also, come over in the new place. I've got a spa, I've got a sauna, and I've got a pool.
Okay.
So come over.
We should train. Let's train.
I'm not going to gym it.
Yeah.
It does have a gym. But actually, February, I'm doing a Super Bowl party.
Okay.
Are you into that or not?
Love it.
All right. Because you'll probably just be around the corner from Lane Cove, yeah?
Around the corners.
How long?
It'll take me half an hour to get there.
Really?
Yeah. Yeah.
That's right, because I beat you to the surf. Okay.
Yeah.
That makes a lot of sense. All right, we got to get out of here. Do it all again real soon. But remember,
it's always overhead when you're body surfing.
Bye. You.